hate you both. I've hated you ever since I can remember. I hate you, and I wish you both had cancer. Cancer? Yes, in the head.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain.
Are you telling me you built a time machine? Kind of a DeLorean?
This is the Stupid Answer Show.
Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
Hello there, children.
Hey, kids.
People seem to like me because I am polite and I'm rarely late.
Don't worry, I got an idea.
And now, the host of the Stupid Cancer Show, Matthew Zach.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Because he has a lot of chutzpah.
All right.
Hello and welcome to episode 389 of the Stupid Cancer Show, the voice of young adult cancer. I'm your host, Matthew Zachary, proud 20-year young adult brain cancer survivor, coming to you from the chemo deck, our fabulous studio in downtown Manhattan. Broadcasting since 2007, the Stupid Cancer Show is a production of Stupid Cancer, the largest charity comprehensively addressing young adult cancer. Online at stupidcancer.org.
I'm Mallory Rivera, program manager and co-producer of the Stupid Cancer Show, welcoming all our first-time listeners and returning listeners. Never miss an episode by subscribing to the podcast on iTunes and following us on SoundCloud.
It is not okay that 72,000 young adults are diagnosed with cancer each and every year. So, got cancer? Under 40? Sucks, huh? Time to get busy living, folks, because the Stupid Cancer Show is changing the world, one chemo infusion at a time. Got a full house here, live in studio. Cancer, a family affair. Noah Wexler just finished his sophomore year in high school. He also happens to be a 6-year brain cancer survivor. Yeah, what I had, medulloblastoma. Noah and his family are all right here, visiting New York City as tourists, dropping by the studio to be live interviewed here at the mercy of me, and how they dealt with Noah's diagnosis and GoaH NoaH, an annual walk to raise awareness of the needs to find a cure for brain cancer. Survivor Spotlight on the one and only Miguel Ramirez. Again, amazing. Great show. Hasn't even happened yet. It's a great show. Hello, Mallory.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm just...
Ducky or dandy?
I am a mix between both.
You're wavering.
I'm wavering.
You're wavering, okay. I'm not going to go at you said episode, but I get episode 2, so.
Yeah.
Have you been drinking before the show? Because we're supposed to drink after the show.
No, I think I'm just having a little moment.
Okay, you're allowed.
It
you're
happens.
Allowed. Exactly.
I'm so excited that there's all the people in studio. I don't think we've ever had this many people on a mic ever.
Actually, that's not true. We did a show before you started in 2011 or 12. Kenny and I did a show where we had 17 people in this room. They weren't all on mic, but there were 17. Imagine that, 17 people.
That's
in this room.
That's a lot of people.
It was hot.
I would imagine
the temperature.
This room has a tendency to be a little bit on the warm side, so I would imagine 17 people. It would be quite warm.
Exactly. Quick announcements: we are proudly launching our fundraiser this fall called Toast: An Evening with Stupid Cancer. It is going to be online at toast.stupidcancer.org. We will be promoting it on social, and
it's going to be a lot of fun.
Really big. We never really had a fully public, gigantic fundraiser before. Everyone was like, "Really? How could you never do that?" I was like, "Well, yeah, we've never done that before."
That's what happens when there's only
one of
4 to 6 people.
One of me for a while, and 2 of us for a while. Yeah, 4 to 6 people, and it's going to be a big deal. October 13th at the NASDAQ in Times Square.
It's going to be awesome.
Super cool. 300 people or so. Tickets on sale now. Sponsorships available. And I was talking to somebody today about that. Like, why have you never done this? It just seems so expected.
Yeah.
That's what charities just do.
We just break the mold in
We're
every
just
way.
different. We're just different. No, I think our board chair, Thea, and one of our board members, Dave, says we were kind of built backwards.
Yep.
We started with big corporate partners and then finally moved into a gala.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Working backwards is okay too.
But very exciting. So toast.stupidcancer.org. Be on the lookout on social. And yeah, we got a full house here, packed to the gills.
Oh, yeah.
So let's get to our first guest, Miguel Ramirez. He gets special introduction music. Sexy, bro.
I like it.
Sexy, bro.
I like it.
Miguel Ramirez is an 80s baby, born and raised in New York City. In 2010, he graduated from Wesleyan University with a BA in what?
Well, just Bachelor of Arts.
Okay. Usually it's with a specialty in library or something. I'm kidding. Currently program associate at the Center Against Domestic Violence. In the near future, he plans to attend grad school. However, his most immediate goal is to have an epic summer. That's my goal, too.
Yeah.
Diagnosed with testicular cancer of the chest.
Yeah.
That's going to be fascinating. Sitting right here next to me, the one and only Miguel Ramirez.
Hello.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, so I remember your story pretty well. And just that whole concept of you can have cancer in another part of your body that isn't the name of the cancer of the body part it's supposed to be in.
Yeah, no, a friend said I had chesticles because it wasn't.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
That's your hashtag.
Yeah, chesticles.
Is that your band name too?
It should be if I had one.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, so this is a young adult show, and we talk about stories. I mean, we always ask the question, "What was your life like?" Let's just say 3 months before everything hit the fan. Just living your life, 80s baby in Brooklyn.
Not Brooklyn. I live in Washington Heights.
Oh God,
so uptown,
no, you can't. You have to
Manhattan.
leave. You have to leave.
Washington Heights, yeah.
Yeah,
That's where Mallory lives. Yeah,
nice.
You're in the club.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
It's a good place to live. I love it.
It is. I love it.
It's the best.
It is.
Cloisters. Sorry.
That's not so farther up.
I know.
Inwood.
We're making Manhattan jokes
Yeah.
on an international show.
It's perfking.
That no one has any idea what we're talking about.
So come visit.
Yeah,
come visit
yeah,
and
yeah.
find out.
Come visit and hang out at the top of
Brought
the
to you
world.
by the Convention and Visitors Bureau of New York City. Yeah, so what were you up to? You working?
At that time, I was just working and trying to figure my life out. Actually, well, that summer, because I was diagnosed in January, so I guess 6 months before, I had applied to graduate school. I just got my license then at that time on my birthday. What else did I do? I feel like I was doing a lot, but
You were in school, though.
no, I was applying to school.
You were applying to school. Okay,
Yeah.
so you had graduated.
Yeah, I had graduated college already, but I wanted to apply to graduate school, so I was like,
Right,
let me try. Let me see where I can go or what my options are.
right.
Yeah.
So what was I know you had a BA in Wesleyan. What was your focus? Did you have any specific, I mean, everyone's like, I had a communications degree. Like,
Oh,
what
my
were you-
major was East Asian Studies.
wow,
Yeah.
you could
so-
be the first guest I've ever had. That
Oh,
was an
really?
East Asian
All right,
Studies
good.
major.
Yeah. So that was fun.
Where did
and,
that come from? That sounds fascinating.
I was just, I mean, it's weird. I've always been interested in Asian culture ever since I was little. My brother's an artist, so he was at that time when he was younger, like interested in anime. So I used to watch a lot of anime.
Okay.
And I thought it'd just be interesting to finally learn to understand all the cartoons I was watching without the subtitles. So I decided to take Japanese and then it just turned into a major.
You know why anime characters have such large eyes? Did they? You know that?
Supposedly it's because they try to, I guess, try to make them more American.
It's
But
part
I
of that.
don't-
Part of that is everyone originally thought it was like racist or something. Like we want to make Americans look like very white. And it's not. It's because larger eyes attract your attention more
Oh, I
to the
didn't
visual
know that.
animations of a show. They draw you in closer to characters. Like if you look at Frozen and Disney princesses, their eyes have gotten huger
Yeah.
over the years. You think about that. Everyone's eyes are disproportionately large as characters, as princesses. You know, in Tangled and Frozen, they're large.
Yeah.
That's the same reason.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's
and it
interesting.
was a brand new style. It had never been done before, and it worked really well.
Yeah.
I mean,
It blew
Dragon
up.
Ball, dude. Dragon Ball. Come on.
Dragon Ball Z. Yeah, oh my God.
I'm bringing you back. 80s baby.
Yeah,
Exactly.
so many hours.
Time wasted. I'll never get back. Yeah. So yeah, we wanted to go to grad school, but it didn't happen. What were your symptoms?
In retrospect, I just had like in July like the summer before. I had some chest pain. I thought nothing of it, and I took a painkiller, a Tylenol, and then kept it moving. And in December, I had some night sweats, and I'm usually a warm person, so I thought it was normal. I thought it was just like, I'm hot. I need to, take the covers off. But I was getting frequent night sweats, and I actually, I coughed up some blood, but it was mixed with mucus, so I thought it was kind of like maybe I had been coughing too much,
right?
And that I was getting sick.
Oh boy!
So I thought I was a little bit hoarse. So
Did you have a primary care at the time?
No, at that time, no, I did not have a PCP, a primary care physician. But it was interesting because before I got diagnosed, I had just signed up for insurance.
So you were in that 90-day waiting period too,
or not even 90 days, like literally the week before.
Oh man!
I ended up in the emergency room. I had signed up for insurance,
and they let you have it.
Yeah, they had to expedite. They had to expedite my application.
So how long was the window between this doesn't feel right and we definitely know what's wrong with you?
There really was no window because I ended up going to the emergency room. So I was at my parents' house on my way to my girlfriend's house, and I just couldn't breathe, and I knew that something was wrong. So by the time that I got to her home, I was like, you need to take me to the emergency room because something's wrong. And then
they found it there?
Yeah, I waited 9 hours, and then eventually I had an x-ray and a CAT scan, and they were like, well, you can't go home tonight. You have to stay.
Were you in part relieved that it was something and that you weren't crazy, or were you like, oh my God, what do we do now? Or both, maybe?
I didn't know how to react because I really didn't think it was anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they told me it could have been like, I mean, the nurse practitioner kind of read off like it could be lymphoma. She like read off a whole bunch of things that it wasn't, but that it could have been.
Lovely.
And I didn't know how to react, so I was just like, okay. But it was weird to like be forced to stay in the hospital, which is I think that was the most impactful.
And how many days were you there?
I spent 3 weeks in the hospital.
Wow.
Just waiting to like be diagnosed pretty much.
So they wouldn't discharge you?
No, they wouldn't discharge me because they said if they discharge me because of the whole insurance thing, that like if for some reason that I needed care, like they wouldn't take me. They couldn't take me back. Something.
So some kind of crazy loophole where you had to stay in the hospital.
Yeah, it was a huge loophole. So basically I had to stay there for 3 weeks. I got biopsies done. I didn't get any answers, and eventually, thankfully, I got a transfer to Memorial Sloan,
right?
Which is where I spent another week, but getting treatment. So in total, a month in the hospital.
So was there surgery or just chemotherapy?
Both.
Okay. Was it invasive or?
What do you mean by invasive?
Like, did they cut your entire body open and stitch you back together, or was it
laparoscopic,
or you had the whole Monty?
I've had both. I've had laparoscopic. I've had that was just for the biopsies,
right?
But I had 4 rounds of TIP, which is Taxol, cisplatin, ifosfamide.
Yeah.
And then after that, I had to have an IVC filter placed because they thought I had a blood clot. And I was put on like blood thinners for 3 months.
So this is like the best vacation ever.
I did. I wanted a vacation so badly, but not this way. And then after that, I had surgery, and I had I guess what they call like a clamshell.
Right.
And they removed a 4-pound tumor, and
from your chest.
Yeah, from my chest. And I also had I guess like.
Did they show it to you?
No, I wanted to see it, but then after surgery, I was like, no, I don't want to see it. Yeah. And I had my pericardium replaced and with like a plastic baggie, I guess. And
can you inflate it like a tooth? Like the?
I don't know. No, I don't inflate it. It's just like there. So and then I guess the majority of my right lung removed. So.
Did you have breathing issues this whole time, or it was just?
Yeah, between I guess chemotherapy and the surgery, I was coughing up blood. So like closer to the surgery, I just like was hacking up blood overnight, and like
wow,
yeah. So they had to like I guess expedite my surgery.
So you have 1 1/4 lung now.
Yeah, like 1 1/4, 1 1/3, because you know how like the right lung has 3 lobes.
Yeah, 3 lobes. Yeah.
Yeah, so I have like 1 1/3.
Okay. This leads us to like the what now, what next? Like when did they say to you, "All right, go home, have a nice life"? Or did they?
No, they technically didn't, because then at that point when I did gonna get the boot, and if you want to say that, and try to return to a normal life, like 6 months later I got diagnosed with the second cancer, with the angiosarcoma. So I really never left. This is kind of like right now, these last almost a year now is when I guess you can say I fully got the boot, and it hasn't been it's been nice. But
so the second cancer, do they know if that was a result of being treated for the first one, or was that was completely different out of nowhere?
It was related. So the mass that they had taken out was consisted mostly of blood vessels.
Okay.
So a second cancer had formed. So angiosarcoma is a cancer of the blood vessels.
Right.
So the second cancer had formed within the tumor, and it somehow, I guess, maybe traveled in my bloodstream to my shoulder. So I had like my right acromion, and that's what like lit up during the scans, and that's why I got diagnosed with the metastatic angiosarcoma, and then I had that removed.
Was that another surgery as well?
Yeah, that was another surgery. So it was another surgery. It wasn't.
So you've been carved up.
Yeah, pretty much. But I mean, that's way easier than chemo. Like I'd rather take that any day than chemotherapy.
So overall, from start to finish, not that there's a finish, but from start to go home, how long was that?
It was, I guess, more than a year and a half.
Wow. Of your life.
Yeah.
When you could have been going to grad school and doing great things.
Yeah.
So, and this was at Sloan.
Yeah, this was at Sloan. Like I've all my surgeries, all my therapy was at Sloan.
So they did a good job, clearly, because you're here.
Yeah, oh my God, I have amazing doctors. I'm so thankful for.
Are you by any chance part of the long-term follow-up program? Because what they do is what they're supposed to do is give you like this report card. Like, hey, you're done, but you're never really quite done. And here's like 40 things to worry about to freak you out for the rest of your life.
No, I am not on a long-term plan, because I think I pretty much, like, I went from having like scans and MRIs like on a monthly basis, and it's kind of just being extended at this point. So I guess that's like my long-term plan, is just to monitor my situation for now. And I think maybe in like a year or 2 years, they'll kind of actually give me the boot and be like, okay, we'll see you once a year.
I can just see this giant boot just like kick you, like a cartoon style, just kick you out.
Yeah, like, no, but yeah, I'll be thankful.
So let's talk about the what now. Where are you now, and how are you doing?
Right now I am doing well. I'm just working. I just started doing push-ups again, so that's good.
Yeah,
for me, that's exciting.
Were you offered any PT or rehab or anything? I mean,
I had to
invasive
have
surgery.
I had to have physical therapy for my shoulder surgery, because it limited my mobility.
Right.
But now it's like pretty. I mean, it's like it never existed. Like I never had the surgery, so I'm thankful for that. But yeah, I had physical therapy for a few months. And then after that, I kind of just like did everything else on my own. Like tried to exercise whenever possible. I do martial arts, so I'm active at least 3 to 4 times.
All right, I won't mess with you, I promise.
So, better not. No.
Yeah, I know, right? So you're working now at the Center Against Domestic Violence at a nonprofit?
Yes, it's a nonprofit. So I assist with development and fundraising there. And they've been like really understanding also of my situation, because my direct supervisor, she had breast cancer. So
oh wow, so there's empathy.
Yeah, definitely. So they have been great with me. They're very flexible with my hours, so I either come in early or leave late whenever I have appointments. So I've been really lucky.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember if we talked about the cancer and career stuff when you were at the conference, right?
I think you may have at some point.
Well, this notion of reasonable accommodation is what we mentioned. Like if you are sick or you have to go through all these things that would normal person, quote normal unquote, would never have to deal with. Legally they have to, but morally they should be nice about it. And you seem to be in a lucky position. That sounded horrible, which means lucky because your HR person had breast cancer. But it's that level of empathy and understanding, which is a good thing.
That's necessary. So, and I've been very thankful and lucky.
So here we are, like 2 years plus later. You gonna try for grad school again?
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm not sure when I'm gonna apply, but I think right now I might try. I don't know what my plans are for the next, I guess, year. I have some things in mind, but I'm really focused on my summer and kind of enjoying it. It's like my first summer in the last 2 years.
You're like free to be you and me. It's amazing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Travel, have fun. So that's my focus, my primary focus right now.
Well, that's wonderful. Where is your family around?
Yeah, my family. Most of my family is in the city, so I'm lucky in that regard also. So
I wanted to wrap the interview because our next segment is a whole family.
Yeah, exactly.
So what was this like for your family? Siblings, parents, cousins?
I have 2 siblings from my father's side. They were supportive, and my family and overall, like, was extremely supportive. They stuffed my face, made sure I kept, I didn't go under a certain amount of weight, but yeah, they were really supportive and they helped me a lot. So I was just lucky overall, I guess. I had a great support system, great doctors, and the family was important for the morale also.
Do you blog? Do you write? I mean, what are some of the things that help you get through it?
No, I don't blog or write. I think the martial arts helped.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you punch things?
Yeah, I punches. Yeah, that definitely helped, and and just reaching out to people, coming to your events like OMG East, that was amazing.
I hope you come back this time. We're doing it again.
Yeah, no, of course, yeah, for sure, I'll be there.
Yeah, you're a lifer.
Thanks.
No, that's great. I can't thank you enough. I mean, I've wanted to have you on the show for a long time, and then I'm sorry.
No, thank you for the opportunity to come on.
Amazing.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Miguel Ramirez, 2-time young adult cancer survivor, 80s baby. I love that it was in your bio, 80s baby. Awesome guy. Thanks for coming on the show. Good luck.
Thanks for having me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Okay, Mal. Now the news.
Hello, I'm Kent Brockman, and this is Eye on Cancer.
Just the facts, ma'am.
Head on over to events.stupidcancer.org. That's events.stupidcancer.org. Sign up for meetup alerts and never miss a meetup again. If you'd like to learn more about hosting your own Stupid Cancer meetup, visit stupidcancer.org/meetup. Okay, there are events happening in Chapel Hill, West Chicago, Cherry Hill, and San Diego.
No one should face cancer alone because isolation sucks. Now you can get instant anonymous peer support on your mobile device with Instapeer, our free mobile app for iOS and Android devices. Create your account and privately message with fellow patients, survivors, and caregivers just like you who've been there and walked in your shoes. Join our mobile community of thousands right now, Instapeer.
We've launched a newsfeed aggregator on Tumblr for all the articles, blogs, and stories we couldn't possibly have the time to post on social media. Check out what we're reading 24/7 and don't miss a beat. Subscribe at stupidcancer.org/feed.
If you've not yet checked out the Stupid Cancer community forums, you are missing out. Join thousands of your peers in a safe and meaningful online environment. You get connected, swap stories, learn from one another, and foster the young adult cancer conversation. With hundreds of topics, discussion groups, and issues to discuss and join in on, it's a great place to get busy living. Learn more at stupidcancer.org/community.
Support our programs and services by heading over to stupidcancerstore.org. You'll feel great and look great in your new Stupid Cancer gear. That's stupidcancerstore.org. Be proud, wear Stupid Cancer.
And that is your Stupid Cancer news. Noah Wexler is a brain cancer survivor who just finished his sophomore year of high school and has been cancer-free for 6 years. Joining Noah in studio is his whole family, Dad Bob, Stepmom Patty, Brother Jack, and stepsister Tara. Please welcome to the Stupid Cancer Show, the Wexlers.
Hello.
You got the big applause. It's a whole family. It's a big deal. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Great to have you here.
Thank you.
Yeah, you were in town on vacation.
Exactly.
And you reached out, and I said, well, just show up.
You did. You did. I was surprised. We just wanted to meet you, but we didn't expect this. It's great.
Yeah, no, I'm very excited. And I mean, Noah, your story is incredible. I don't get to meet, for obvious statistical reasons, many medulloblastoma patients at all. I think the stat is still 200 a year worldwide.
It's about 200,000, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, that's such a tiny fraction of the brain cancer world, which in and of itself is a small group, let alone, like, the not 80-year-old people that get it.
Yeah. And yet, I think it is the most common tumor, brain cancer, pediatric brain cancer
it's
tumor.
It's the most common pediatric brain tumor. It's not the most common pediatric cancer. That's still acute lymphoblastic leukemia, and then some of the sarcomas. But yes, like, well, welcome to the club. You know, we're a niche number one group of top brain cancer pediatric.
Lucky you.
Yes, lucky us. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say lucky, but I was 21, which is uncommon because the tumor typically presents at the age of 4, which you were when you were diagnosed. No, fourth grade. 10. You were 10.
He was 9.
Under the age of 12 or 13 is around when the tumor typically presents, and I was 21, which is bizarre. They had no idea why I had it, and then we found out that it's a congenital tumor, that you're born with it.
Yes.
And it's just a mixed up genetics in something that happens and all that nonsense.
Right, because when I discovered you had written an article, and I saw that you were 21 when you were diagnosed, and I was really surprised.
I know. I think I've only met maybe 1 or 2 other people that have medulla that were diagnosed in their 20s. I know there's like an adult version of it that happens in like geriatrics, but it's a different biology.
Gotcha.
Which is even rarer.
Mm-hmm.
So, Noah, welcome to New York for the first time.
Thank you.
Yeah, you having fun so far?
Yes, a lot of fun.
What'd you do so far?
We walked the Brooklyn Bridge. We went to Little Italy. Saw that Twin Towers Memorial.
Yeah, I heard you went. You went up. You went. Oh, you said the memorial, or you went up?
We did a tour, a walking tour today.
Okay.
And
did you see the museum?
Yes.
But you didn't go up to the top.
We didn't see the big museum today. We went through a different walking tour, which
It was the 9/11 Tribute Center.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's just as interesting. I mean, the museum itself underground is like, it's like going to the Holocaust Museum. It's so intensely moving.
Yeah.
Well, even the museum that they had at the 9/11 Tribute Center was pretty moving.
They weren't selling cheese plates, were they? There's all
Not
this
that I'm aware of.
No, the gift shop comes under a lot of heat because they sell like the most ridiculous memorabilia.
The most ridiculous.
We were just saying that today too, because Tara's dad collects shot glasses, and we were joking that there would be a 9/11 shot glass, and there was.
Yeah,
there was.
Because that's appropriate.
I know, that's exactly. And I told Tara, I said, "There's no way there would be that. They're not going to have that there."
Yeah.
And, yep, there was.
Sure enough.
Not at the Tribute Center, but at the gift shop next door.
No, I mentioned the cheese plate because there was a cheese plate in the shape of America, and there was like a World Trade Center like offshoot of it with like the salsa went. It was really tactless, completely tactless. It was anyway. I digress.
It was powerful.
With the cheese plate.
It was powerful. Yeah. The whole thing was powerful.
But all right, so let's get to your story. 4th grade, hard enough being 10 to begin with, or 9 to begin with, and I mean, I assume you probably had very similar symptoms that I had, like dizziness and slurred speech or peripheral seizures, typical stuff.
Vomiting.
Yeah,
it started
nausea.
with vomiting,
Yeah.
and yeah.
And then they thought it was gastrointestinal. So
That's how they treated it at
they
first.
were
Because I thought it was like ulcerative colitis or something, or
it was the typical. The parents, you get a call in the morning. Your kid threw up at school.
yeah,
No biggie. Took him, and then it happened again.
right.
And then we took him to the doctor, and they thought there was maybe a stomach issue,
Mm-hmm.
and because he'd had a few stomach issues when he was younger, and then it happened again, and then
so then they started taking foods away. They started
to see what.
to try to
If
Like
see
it was
an
an
elimination?
allergy
Yeah.
or exactly.
Yeah.
Like an allergy thing, and then
Didn't work.
no, of course not.
had no effect.
And then my mom, I think, was the one who actually noticed he was, because he used to stay at her house a lot, and that he was watching TV with one eye closed.
Yes.
And right around that time, they said we're gonna. There was one last time we got a call from the school, and when I went to pick him up, he was almost unconscious on his feet.
Right.
He was just almost, and then it was like, we took him like at 11 at night for an MRI.
Well, for our listeners out there, and you know this, medulloblastoma is the only brain tumor or malignant brain tumor that is not in your brain. It's
No.
in your cerebellum, which is, for those of you who remember Bio 101, is the other part of your brain below your brain.
Yep.
And that is the part of your brain that controls all the things that you don't. Your lungs, your liver, or anything that is what they call autonomic.
Yes.
Getting all nerdy here, but like anything autonomic that you don't control, that part of your brain controls it. So like your gait and
Yep.
your memory and your hearing and your balance and your stasis.
All things that he still is challenged with because
Yes,
of that.
Exactly. So do you remember, I mean, this was a while ago for you, but do you remember being 10 and this happening to you vividly?
Yeah, very vividly.
Were you scared?
I didn't really understand what was going on at that point.
Right.
I just remember my mom getting a call and us going to the hospital, and I didn't fully understand until they explained it to me like 2 weeks after.
Did you know
maybe.
something was wrong with you, though?
Yes. Yeah, I knew something was going on with my stomach. I thought it was like what the doctor said, and stomach problems and
Right. So pediatrics has evolved a lot in 20 years. This was 6 years ago, right?
2009.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so about 7 years ago. How as parents, as young parents, do you feel like you were treated like young parents, and that Noah had sort of a sanctuary of appropriateness around what he was going through?
What do you mean a sanctuary of appropriateness?
Like it was well, pediatrics has evolved a lot. The experience is different when you're not 3, when you're 10, when you're 14, and the centers tend to understand the ages better now than just throwing everyone into one room.
Yeah, he was. I mean, we were treated at Children's Hospital of Michigan, and they're all about the kids and making
Right.
sure that the kid. It's a patient bill of rights for children.
Good.
So if that's kind of what you're, it's
Yeah.
like you have the right to complain, you have the right to cry. But what was really shocking is that he never did.
Mhm.
I mean, it was unbelievable what he was
You're brave.
put through and
Yeah.
and never complained about it.
So medulloblastoma has evolved in terms of its treatments. When I was diagnosed, there was no chemotherapy for it. I was forced to have just radiation.
Mhm.
Did they present you with options?
Yeah, we had. It's kind of it's a very weird dynamic because we were told he would have chemotherapy. Well, after the resection,
Yes.
the two tumor resections, unfortunately.
Right.
We were told he would have chemotherapy and radiation concurrently because it was such an aggressive tumor. And what was odd about the whole thing is that you don't really, as a parent, you don't really process that. It's a very when they say to you, well, he has a 60% or 70% chance of survival. And outside, you would think that's great. But when you're a parent,
it doesn't matter.
You're going, you mean I have a 40% chance that I'm going to lose my kid?
Yes.
And it's just a very...
Is there any better way to have that news given to you? Or do you even want to know that? Like, that's the other question. It's like bedside manner and delivery of communications to parents.
We were lucky, I think. I think we had some very good doctors, wonderful nurses. I think that I don't know if there is a way to deliver that.
Right.
I'm not sure that there.
But you'd want to know the odds.
Yeah, yeah. And actually, for me, the question I had after I was trying to process it all was, is there a chance that Jack? Because I didn't realize it was congenital type. I thought it was just hereditary, and they told us no, it's not. But yeah, there's no good way. But I would have no complaints about the way that they handled us and handled him, and we had the normal. One thing you always have to do when you're in that is people don't realize you really have to advocate for your child.
Yes.
You are the only one there who can advocate for your child. You're the only one, even though the nurses and doctors care, if you don't advocate, your child will not get the top level that you have to push.
Right. So Noah, do you remember when you were out of surgery and finished with your chemotherapy? Did you noticeably feel better?
Yeah, I remember I didn't have as many headaches. I didn't have the I still had a few symptoms that I did, like the vision, the problem with the vision. I still had that, the split vision between two eyes, and the sometimes the vomiting a little bit.
Right.
But that was it.
Did you lose your hair?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
That sucks.
He also he had mutism too, which is a very rare post-op type thing, and he really couldn't really communicate that much for almost a couple months afterwards.
Is that a resultant of the surgeries and the radiation and the chemo?
The surgeries.
Right.
Post-op.
So was that recognized immediately, and you were put on like a speech program?
Yeah. That was I noticed right after I got out of the surgery, I couldn't talk to my parents.
Right.
So, but.
Well, here you are.
Yeah.
Sound good.
Yeah, now he has no problem.
Yeah,
talking.
they did a good job.
Now we can't get him to shut up. So let's go back to school then. Did you miss all of 4th grade? Did you go back to 4th grade?
Part way in to
Okay.
4th grade, I went back for part-time school, and then I had some at home too, homeschooling.
And we've heard horror stories and amazing stories about children in elementary school who get sick and how cruel kids can be in general when you're not sick. What was your experience with your classmates?
They were all glad that I was back in school and glad to see us, and we didn't have any trouble at all.
Well, that's good.
Anyone, no.
Well, that's good. We need better stories like that. There's some tough stuff out there.
Yeah, we've been really lucky because he was diagnosed his first symptoms were in December of the school year, so relatively early. And then he was diagnosed, and he missed all of the rest of 3rd grade and then part of 4th grade. And we've been all the way through very lucky. Our school system has been wonderful. I mean, the support that he still has a full-time aide with him, which is very unusual in a public school system.
Especially in high school.
Yeah, especially in high school.
Right.
And so we've been extremely fortunate that we're in the school system we're at, and we've had the supports that we've had.
So your siblings are here on the couch looking like they don't want to talk to me. But I'll give them the option to if either of you, Tara or Jack, want to chime in what it was like to have a sibling going through this. The siblings are often lost. My brother is 3.5 years younger than me. He was a freshman in college when I was a senior, and he basically became a non-existent member of the family for no reason other than the obvious, which is that I needed the care that my parents could give me. And it's we're 20 years out. It's everything's fine now. But it was definitely something where he could have used some support. And there's 2 of you, so you technically can support each other. But when there's one sibling, it's often difficult. Would either of you, and you're free to say no, be interested in coming on mic and telling us how you felt?
Sure.
All right, Jack's getting up.
So, at the time I was kind of young, so I didn't really know what was going on. So it was really strange because half the time either my parents weren't home, like they kind of took shifts. So it was weird. Like half the time I didn't know where either of them were. And there was a long period of time where I didn't talk to Noah, which was, I hate to say, good and bad.
No,
because he annoyed me sometimes, but
I think that's it's family.
Well,
yeah.
and what he just said is it's interesting too because the dynamic between them didn't change really, which was wonderful. Jack's never treated him differently because he had cancer. They still fight like
he's just
brother.
a jerk.
Yes, exactly. Which is great. I think it was.
Well, that's good. There are a lot of camps out there for siblings of children that get sick, and we work with one called Camp Kesem. I know they're all around the country, but I know the American Cancer Society has some camps for siblings. Is that something you were aware of? Would you have gone to one of those if you knew about them?
I don't know.
It's an open-ended question.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it was something
we ever really
we
looked
didn't
into.
really.
Yeah.
We work with a group called Super Sibs. They do peer support for siblings of children. So, like, if you're under 18 and your sibling is under 18, they'll match you with another someone, and they have camps and experiences too.
Oh, interesting.
I mean, it's such an unmet need, and it's so easy to just go under the radar because clearly our primary concern is getting Noah well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why you tend to focus everything, you know.
We do a lot of workshops on caregivers, and that's the two of you, mom and dad. How do you care for yourself, and how can you be a good caregiver if you don't care for yourself?
Yeah.
Did you have any caregiver support or resources while you were going through this?
Well, Patty is Noah's stepmom. Noah's mom, at the time, wasn't working, so she was able to be there, 24/7, and she and I would switch off, going, in the hospital, back and forth, and Patty was helping taking care of Jack at that time, so everyone just was kind of filling in and rotating, and it was really we have a really great family support system. Noah's mom, Patty, grandparents. We're really lucky. Everyone was
even
involved.
Work coworkers and family friends and
Boy Scouts.
We'd have food dropped
so
off at our house.
Everyone opened up their house to you, pretty much.
It was a community. It really was. It was a really great outpour. I mean, you don't expect it, but I mean, we were just gobs of stuff for him, just showing up.
That's good.
Yeah, it was.
People like you. You're doing something right.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
So
Hopefully.
here you are coming up on your 6 years. I don't like the word cure. I don't know how you feel about the word cure. I like to say you're still here. 6 years later, in whatever shape or form that is, you're still here. Doctors typically say in remission or no evidence of disease, something really automaton-like that kind of sucks the humanity out of it.
Yeah, it's interesting that you said that because I remember when he hit the 5-year mark, which is supposed to be the magical
number, yeah.
And, as a parent, it's like you never... It doesn't matter. 5 years it's not, it doesn't feel like that.
No.
But I remember his oncologist saying to us, it's not really cured, but the chances of recurrence go down dramatically. And that's how I kind of interpreted it.
Yeah.
Look, he's cured of cancer, but he's, cancer free. That's
yeah,
what he's,
exactly. So now you are a high school sophomore.
Yep.
You're into animals.
Yes.
You told me you raised rabbits before the show.
Yeah.
Why rabbits?
I don't know. I got into rabbits actually before I got sick. Someone told me about the 4-H program and
4-H is still around?
4-H is
no way
alive and well.
I remember
Michigan.
4-H. The commercials here in the 80s. 4-H for you for America. 4-H.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
You just grabbed the piece of my brain that has been active in 30 years.
Yep. Yeah, he's in a great 4-H club.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So I understand that you have an interest in going into like a zoology type of like future. It's very exciting.
Yeah, I hope to do something like in that lines of work.
So is that your primary? We talk about what are your anchors? Like what helps you ground yourself? It's hard enough being a high school. I hated being a high school sophomore, and I was fine. I can only imagine these days with all the social media and the tech and the cell phones and all that. It's insanely different.
Noah we call Noah, and we always have, even before he got sick, he's an old soul.
Yeah.
And
it does age you mentally.
Yeah.
But he was like that before.
Even before, he's always gravitated more towards adults. He's not into video games and stuff. He'd much rather build a giant Lego set.
Yeah.
He's always been more into that. So the social end of it hasn't been traumatic for him, as it might have been for other kids who are much more extroverted.
Right.
Like that. He's always been kind of, happy to be at home doing his thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So how do you feel about yourself now, 6 years out of cancer?
Feel happy that I'm 6 years out. And,
yeah. Do you still deal with some side effects?
Yes.
Because those also go undiscussed too much.
Well, that was the article that introduced me to you. But really.
The consequence of, quote, cure, quote,
right.
you know.
Right, because I think people generally say, oh, you had cancer, you're fine.
Yep, get on with your life.
But the endocrinologist, the gastroenterologist, the ongoing, with oncologists, it's a whole...
Right. Well, so part of the Sloan Kettering long-term pediatric program that I mentioned with Miguel, they follow patients for up to 20 years. If you're diagnosed under, I think, 26, they'll follow you for 20 years afterwards. And, they talk about cardiomyopathy as a late effect of some of the chemotherapy, osteopenia, when you're prepubescent and your spine doesn't develop right, scoliosis, which I have from my late effects. And is that something that you have active conversations with when you go back, or do you go back and see these doctors?
Yeah, there's sun exposure.
Yeah.
I have conversations with that.
Do you bathe in Coppertone? I had to bathe in Coppertone for 5 years.
Yeah, he has a lot. I mean, the radiation and chemo, he takes a thyroid replacement drug. He takes a cortisone replacement drug.
Mm-hmm.
He takes a pill to help with his eating. He takes a shot. He gets a growth hormone shot every night.
Yeah.
So along the lines of the article you wrote, you can't understand that until you go through it.
Exactly.
It doesn't end.
Mm-hmm.
It's the cancer's over, but then it's just a whole battery.
Right.
The damage it does, you're cured, which is not cured, but you're cancer-free, which is wonderful. But there's a huge price you pay, too.
No, and that is the part for me that, A, is most personal, because that is me, and that is our story. But what this organization stands for is the dignity of life if you're lucky and fortunate to beat cancer. And there are still people living with cancer that are thriving on all the right medicines for some reason. We have a chief program officer who was diagnosed with ovarian cancer, 7 years ago, Mel? 6 years ago?
I think it's actually 8.
8.
Yeah.
And she was on a couch waiting to die, getting her affairs in order, and it's been 6 years, and she's living with cancer, and she's getting married, next month?
She's getting married in less than a month.
Less than a month. So this is the new cancer.
Yep.
What does that really mean? What does cure mean? And how do we represent that, authentically? Whereas I would take umbrage with, and you clearly articulated, you take umbrage with people out there that are just throwing the word cure around.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you don't live it, you don't understand. You say the word cure, and I'm sure no one means anything.
Yeah,
but it just takes on a totally different meaning. The whole thing once you're involved in it.
Yes,
and you watch your child go through it. It just takes on a totally different meaning.
So let me talk about peer support. I mean, that to me is the one thing that I wished I had. Just meeting another college kid with any cancer. I didn't care if it was brain. I just wanted to meet some kid that had cancer in college and knew what it was like. And it took me 7 years to meet somebody, but I was way back into life by then. So it was a different, Jesus, where were you when I needed you?
Right.
Would have been nice back then. But from your perspective, Noah, were you introduced at the hospital or anywhere else to other young men who were beating brain cancer?
Yeah. I was introduced to one. He was I think he was 20 years old. That I think he had the same cancer. He was having the same effects as me, and I only talked to him a couple times. And but then, there was one person in my class. He got leukemia, and he was diagnosed maybe a month before I was, and had the surgery. And I think he's not doing. He still has leukemia, but I talked to him a couple times too. I haven't seen him in a while, but yeah, that's it.
Our community, it's a small community, but one of Jack's best friends, when they were going to 7th grade, was diagnosed with a glioblastoma and passed away.
At what age?
Going into 7th grade.
He was 12.
A glio at 12 years old?
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
Yeah, and passed away. He was diagnosed in
Not even a year
September,
later.
treated at St. Jude's. they couldn't.
Right.
And I mean, we're very close with the family, but it would be very unusual in a community our size to have that many kids in a short, within 3 or 4 years.
There's been several.
It's like a cluster.
Yeah. It was, we're like, maybe there's something in the water. I mean, we were literally.
Well, you're not near Flint, are you?
Yeah.
No.
Pardon?
You're not near Flint, are you?
Not that
No,
far.
That place is bad news.
That's not good.
So as far as parents, then, I actually don't know the answer to this question. I've been hoping to find an answer to this question. I don't get an audience with young parents that much from pediatrics. It's just not our community yet. We're starting to see an uptick in young parents who have young children finding community on our programs and services. A lot of them come to our conferences just to meet other young parents. Their kids can't come because they're minors. Although we have some teenagers came this year to CancerCon, right?
We do have teenagers that come to CancerCon.
Yeah. But I wouldn't expect like a 10-year-old to come with their parents. But did you seek any support from other parents, or were there other parents at the cancer center that you could speak with, or specifically parents of Megalo?
No. No, we really didn't.
I think we just had so much support from our family and friends that we didn't really feel like we needed to.
Right.
Or maybe we did
out.
need to. We just didn't know we needed to.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, that's the open-ended question. It's what you don't know. If you don't know what you need.
Right. You're immersed in it.
Yeah.
And you can't really see the forest you're.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably more what it was than anything else.
Yeah, I mentioned before the show, my dad was 47 when I was diagnosed, and he would have killed to meet any parent who had any kid with cancer.
Looking back, I think it would have been a lot. It would have been nice because you have a common. When you're dealing with that, everyone is so careful about what they say to you, and I think if you're dealing with another parent, they would understand it, and you wouldn't have that weirdness, that awkwardness.
Right, exactly.
But I think on the other side of that, when Jack's friend got sick, we kind of really reached out to the family and tried to really kind of help them and kind of helping them understand what was going to happen and what he might go through.
Right at the beginning, I wrote him, and we didn't know the family that well before, and I wrote them a lot, saying, this is what is going to happen, and if you need someone, to talk to her to help you through any of this, and your son is going to amaze you, because the courage that it's beyond words.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of courage that these kids show when they're going through this. I mean, these are young kids in many cases, and it was he's the one who kept us going.
Yeah.
We didn't keep him going.
So, Noah, who's going to play in the movie? Nick Jonas?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt. I'm going to go Nick Jonas.
40 years ago.
Yeah.
You got a One Direction thing going on. I kind of like that. The teenagers are laughing at the 42-year-old guy making One Direction reference. I will stop now. Attempting to be relevant.
Yeah, that's fine.
So we always ask our guests, what is your message to other kids going through cancer?
I guess take all the help you can get and take one day at a time.
So when things got really bad, and we know how bad they can really get, the stuff we don't talk about on the air, the stuff that only happens at 3 a.m, what did you do? Where did you find that strength from?
I don't know. I guess just that, well, I wasn't really told that the risks of anything, so I just kept living normally, trying to live normal, and I didn't know this was life-threatening until pretty far into the chemo and radiation and everything else, and that was why I just kept trying to live every day out at a time.
And clearly you did.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I was my surgery itself, and I know the surgery's come a long way since I had it 20 years ago. Back then, they literally ripped your whole head open and went through your brainstem and with like a fishing hook or something ridiculous. And the survival rate for the surgery 20 years ago was 25%.
Wow.
For the mine was invasive. Like the cerebellum is large, so it could be anywhere in it. It was like way inside by the corpus callosum. So only when I beat the surgery, they're like, "Oh yeah, you 25% chance to survive."
You told me that before.
Yes, thank you for not disclosing that in advance of my going under the knife. Exactly. Well, I'm really inspired by you, Noah. It's an amazing story. It's stories that don't get enough attention out there, and it's another narrative around the dignity of survivorship.
Right.
That you have the rest of your life to live meaningfully and purposefully, and nothing should get in your way because you didn't ask to get sick.
No.
And that a 5-year diagnosis doesn't mean anything to someone that's 10 years old. You want a 50% chance to live 300 years. Do that math.
Yep.
You just did the math. I smelled your brain doing that math. You're a smart kid. Yeah, exactly.
He is a smart kid.
Well, your organization, I really feel such a need, I think, for people that are dealing with this, and I think it's important work that you're doing, and I hope that we want to get more involved in what you're doing because it's just a part of it that people don't think about.
So do I smell a Stupid Cancer Detroit chapter kicking off?
There really could be. There really could be. Maybe GoaH NoaH Part 2.
Yeah, tell us about that. We have about 2 or 3 minutes left. GoaH NoaH.
My mom started it before I was done with treatment, and it went to the American Brain Tumor Association, and I remember the first one they had. I didn't know if I was gonna go or not because I didn't feel great at that point, and my immune system was pretty shot from the chemo.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
So I didn't know if I was gonna go, but I did anyway. I did decide to go.
He just finished treatment. Finished treatment.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, we didn't know if he was gonna be able to go because he had just finished treatment the week before the first GoaH NoaH.
Wow.
Yeah. So and we do have a 7-year run of horrible weather every single year.
First Saturday of October.
Single year.
Yep.
Is always horrible weather.
Have you thought of changing the date?
That's his mom.
I'm just kidding.
But I thought of summer, but the school gets more involved when it's during the school year.
So when do you graduate? When's graduation?
2018.
No, I mean from sophomore year. Like when is the last day of school?
Done.
They're done.
Oh, you're done. You're officially
We're
you're almost junior.
Yep.
Wow.
I finished last Thursday.
So this vacation is like a post.
Yeah, they just finished
school
Thursday.
ending.
Yep.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, good for you.
And
Junior
Noah's
year.
a top student. Like
yes, he is.
Really top student.
I'm not
Except for
surprised.
Spanish.
Except for Spanish.
Okay. ¿Dónde está?
Yeah.
No sabe.
No.
Yeah, no.
That's perfectly fine. Well, I'm very inspired by you. We're all very inspired by you. You are Stupid Cancer. Noah Wexler, long-term medulloblastoma survivor, here with his family, Bob, Patty, his siblings, Tara, and Jack, the Wexler family. Thank you so much for taking the time to come out here to New York City for holiday, but stopping by our humble studio and sharing your story with us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Okay. Okay, Mal. Now this crowd loves you guys. All right, now it's time for our closing sequence.
Prepare to activate.
I hear there's rumors on the internets.
You ever seen a grown man naked?
And so, to all of you, a fond farewell.
Hooray! I'm helping.
You are a meathead. Oh, Magoo, you've done it again.
That was so terrible, I think you gave me cancer.
Okay, folks, that's our show, the 389th episode of The Stupid Cancer Show. Never miss an episode by subscribing to podcasts on iTunes and following us on SoundCloud.
I'd like to thank our guests, Miguel Ramirez and the Wexler family. Broadcasting since 2007, The Stupid Cancer Show is a production of Stupid Cancer, the largest charity comprehensively addressing young adult cancer, online at stupidcancer.org. Coming to you from the chemo deck. And on behalf of my team here at The Stupid Cancer Show, we hope you had as much fun as we did poking a stick at Stupid Cancer. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you right back here on the next exciting podcast of The Stupid Cancer Show. Goodbye, folks.